All right, this video is going to be about installing a casa or casa, however you want to pronounce it, smart Wi-Fi light switch. The one I have here, this one here, has gone out. Just so you know, it's probably about 5, maybe 6 years old, and it is in our kids' room, which means I'm sure it's received a lot of abuse. It's the only switch I've had to go out in all of my smart switches, which I probably have 80 or more throughout the house. And so we're going to replace it and show you what you need to do to make that happen. So the first thing you're going to want to do is make sure that you've turned the power off to the room so that you're not dealing with live wire. You're going to need a Phillips head screwdriver. You are going to need a flathead screwdriver. And if you have one, a pair of stripping wires might be necessary. But if you're replacing a switch, there's a good chance you can get away with just some regular wire snippers. We're going to first remove the light switch plate. If there happens to be a fresh coat of paint around your plate, you'll want to get a utility knife and just cut a tiny little right along the edge of the plate so it doesn't peel the paint back. And then just once the screws are released, you just pull your plate off. And that was done with a flathead. And now you can use either a flathead or a Phillips, but in my opinion, a Phillips is, if you're able to use it, it's the best thing to use. You just take your Phillips and take these screws right out. I want you to notice there is a red, black, and white. Now, the white wire is your common, and in order to use a smart switch, majority of them, there are a few what we would call slave switches or travelers that won't need a common wire. But if you're just installing one switch, you're going to need that common wire. So you need to check to make sure that whoever wired your house carried the common all the way through. And so you have your red, your black being hot, and the red so being the load. So you have the live wire, the wire that's going to the light, and then your common. So what you want to do next is remove these wires from the bad switch. And that could be different ways. In this case, you can see it's the Phillips screwdriver. I loosen this here, and these guys will just come right out, no problem, as long as you loosen it enough. Now, you may not have this type of setup, and you may actually have to snip these wires and re-strip them. So it just depends on how the switch was wired. So once you removed your other switch, you want to get your new switch out. And like I said, this is the Casa. There are, many brands out there. And you can see that they have here 4 wires. Now, I only have 3 here, and that's because I didn't show you that inside this box is what we call the ground wire. And so I will be pulling that one out to attach the green wire to. The 2 black wires on this one is line load. So that means it doesn't matter, right? They're not separating these. They're saying that these are the line load. So one of my black is going to go to the red, and my other black is going to go to the black. The white wire, the common, is going to, or the neutral as it's called, is going to go to this white wire. And then the green wire is going to go to the, usually it's a bare copper. So there's no plastic rubber covering on it. It's just bare. And you have to look up in there and find it and pull it out as well. And that is what the green wire will go to. So in order to do this, you're going to need a wire nut. And then you're going to take the existing wire on your new switch. You're going to go clockwise, a little bit of a twist on one of the black wires, or the black wire or red wire. And then you're going to bring these together inside of this nut. It's like this. You want to make sure you get it on there really good, nice and tight and snug. You can even use a pair of pliers, but just be careful not to over tighten it. Once it's there, you want to pull on these wires and make sure that they are in there really, really good. And we're going to do that for the rest of these wires as well. All right, so once you get the wires in there, you get them capped, you shove them back in, and then you just push your light switch. Now sometimes, you know, that can be a little difficult because of the compacting of the wires, and you just have to work it, make sure none of your caps come off, or make sure you don't accidentally damage other wires in doing it. Once you do that, just remount this light switch back to the box inside the wall. Okay, so we have the plate on, and it was a struggle, I'll tell you that. I had to take this thing on and off several times and work with the wires in the back, and but you know, eventually got it. Now we're going to turn the power on, see if we can't connect this thing.